Think we are all set, my friend. We'll see it pop up. I'll give you a chance to share it.
All right. It should just pop up on your Facebook page, right?
Yep, you're going to see it here in a hot second. I'll give you a chance to share it.
All right. It should pop up on your Facebook page, right?
Yep, you're going to see it here in a hot second. All right, so we are live here on episode number 5 of the Agents Roundtable. I have a very special guest with me here today, one of my colleagues and good friends out of the Georgia marketplace, Mr. Steve Brooks of Brooks Financial. Steve, good morning to you.
Good morning. How are you, Brett?
I'm good. Did you get a chance to go ahead and do the share that?
Yeah, I shared it, and I'm hoping that is in our group right now. So let me just go back and double check. Pull this up.
Right. Sounds good.
And
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and put it in the.
Yeah, man, we're here. We're on our page. So
perfect. Well, I'm excited. I'm excited to have you here today.
Yeah, man, I'm excited to be here.
And I'm going to be in Atlanta with you here in probably less than about 48 hours.
Yep. Looking forward to seeing you. It ought to be a good one, man. The first one where kind of a couple of managers have come together, and just appreciate you taking the effort, time, and energy to come down and be a part of this with us. And I'm looking forward to getting there with you guys soon.
Well, thank you. And I appreciate you taking time away from the agency to be with us here today. But I think that today's conversation is going to go a long way. We're going to talk a little shop. We're going to talk about changes in the industry and maybe what it is that you guys that are doing that's so special out there in the Georgia marketplace that maybe nobody else is doing, which is always good to be different.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You got to be.
So, we do these agents roundtable. I believe that not just insurance and financial services individuals in the marketplace can find value from what we talk about on these episodes, but I think anybody in any type of sales or marketing can always pick up a little nugget or a little tidbit. So I believe that today's episode, we're going to provide a ton of value to everybody who's interested in just learning something that they can take and then utilize in their own market space.
Okay. Sounds great.
So Steve, let me go ahead and first start with number one. How did you and your wife, Lisa, how did you folks come together and get started in the financial services space? What were you doing prior? How did you get introduced? And what did that, first couple months or first year look like for you folks?
Sure, man. It was humble beginnings. And as we talk to people that we bring on board, it's just our story is so similar to where a lot of the people that we're talking to, where they actually are and meeting them where they are. But somebody actually met us where we were. I was 25, Lisa was 24, and that was 14 years ago, do the math. But she was working at the AJC. We lived in the Atlanta area at that time. It's where I'm from originally. And she's from Statesboro. That's why we ended up back here in Statesboro, her hometown. But I actually owned a cabinet shop. It was our family business. I'd gone to college, and it was just one of those things. It just wasn't working out for me. I was there just kind of spinning my wheels and just eager to do more with my life. And so just decided to go run that family business. And we were growing. We were doing well. And as a 25-year-old guy, making good, consistent income, running a small crew. And then, but what happened is what happens in so many people's lives, Brad, is they have some type of a life event that changes the situation. And we were pregnant. Lisa was 6 months pregnant at the time. And we were just, we need to do something else, I guess. That was kind of where she and I were thinking that we needed a little more money. And so she was looking for part-time work. And her boss at AJC, that actually was in the 70s at the time, really looked at Lisa as kind of a granddaughter type, just really looked over her and shepherded her and said, "You're not going to go work in a restaurant. Look, I've got a lot of life wisdom. I've actually had my insurance license in the past, and it's a lucrative business. You can make some good money part-time. I'll go get my license with you." And he went and sat through the class with her, because we didn't do it online on ExamFX. We went and sat in the class, and he said, "I'll go sit with you." And he did. And after she got through, and I'm continuing to do my cabinet shop and run my business and do my thing, But she, after she got her license, he said, look, I found this opportunity in the paper. Let's go check it out. I'll go with you. And so he went with her, and it was actually a mortgage protection opportunity that somebody had put an ad in the paper for. And she started. I was skeptical.
That's old school.
That's old school, baby. You know, I was skeptical. You know, I was the guy that we run into a lot of times. That was the spouse of, you know, they're telling you can make how much doing what. Anyway, I'm going to get up and keep working and going to run my business and try to do this in your spare time or whatever. And she would come out of the bedroom in the evenings after we got off work, and she'd cry and say, man, these people are so mean. I'm like, if they're so mean, why are we keep buying these leads? You know what I mean? They're supposed to work, you know? But little did we know, Brett, this is, you know, this is different with us. If it's an aged lead or a B lead, we're going to tell you that's what it is. It's going to be a little more hard work up front. We're going to train you and coach you through that. That company we were with then were selling us A leads, but they were actually aged leads. So that's a lot of the crap in the industry that we know is still out there, but that's what we were exposed to at the beginning. So anyway, that's why she was having such a difficult time to start with, is she didn't know that they were aged leads. They didn't have a script for aged leads, or even door knocking was not introduced, you know, until, gosh, to us until the past 3 to 5 years. Mm-hmm. And looking back and wishing I had all the things and the tools that we have now, how much better we could have done then. But anyway, she finally made a sale, Brett. It was $800. I remember it was a Tuesday.
Okay.
And 3 days later, she got a deposit, and I saw that in the account. I was like, what in the world is this $800 for? And she said, that's that appointment I ran on Tuesday. And I was like, well, that's more than I'm making a week. Maybe this thing does work, and this dog might have some legs to hunt, you know what I mean? Or this dog might hunt, you know? So I went ahead and I said, I'm going to get my license, and I'll try to go at this thing with you. And we did. And Brett, in our first 6 months part-time, you know, fast forward, us just grinding and working it out together for the first 6 months part-time in the evening and on the weekends. And we didn't really work as many Sundays as you do and what you train people to do, because nobody was really training us what to do. We were just figuring it out, you know? So we were working in the evenings, Saturdays mostly, and we made 60 grand in the first 6 months working part-time. And then we made a decision after that 6 months, from that June to that December, going into the next year. It was like, okay, what do we really want to do? It's starting to cost me money to go to the cabinet shop. It's starting to cost me money to go do AJC. And we really made a transition after that first 6 months to go full time. And it's been very rewarding ever since. And it's been a 6-figure income ever since. And not that it's going to be that for everybody.
Right.
That's what it was for us, because we really saw an opportunity. We didn't know that you could actually go out and make this kind of money. That path was not, we didn't know that path existed. You know, those are doctors and lawyers and whatever, but somebody introduced us to that path, and we went out and did an activity, and we got paid X amount of dollars for it. Did we deserve that amount of money? I don't know, maybe not, you know, but that's what the industry pays. And so having the opportunity to even know that that exists, and you can go out and do that and work hard at it, and get paid the amount of money that the industry is willing to pay you for the activity you do, we really just grabbed hold of that and ran with it. And, you know, if I throw my license on the table and you throw your license on the table for the states we live in, yours doesn't have PhD on it, or I got to go back to school for a higher qualification on my license. I can go and go as far as I want to. And I would see these guys up talking in front, and I was like, man, these guys are borderline idiots. And I think that I can do what they're doing. And so I'm going to continue to like just go after it and grow. And I knew in the industry that the shadiness that was there, my goal was to grow something that was more pure. And I was like, there's got to be a better opportunity where people can just get into an organization that they can trust, that the people that they're working with and partnering with, the organization will do what they say they're going to do and train them on how to do it. And that's what I've been just chasing after for the past 14 years and trying to grow and build, and just been very blessed with the people who've been brought into my life, like Mike Schless and yourself, that are just on the same mission that I am. And I was like, yes, these people exist that want to do what I want to do also. You know what I mean?
There's real people out there.
Yeah, man. So I know that that's kind of the extended version of how we got started, but I get passionate and enthusiastic about what I do, and that it's humble beginnings in our little 1,200 square foot house in the back bedroom, man, making phone calls, brother.
I got you. And so that was, I heard you mention, was that 14 years ago?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, you brought up a lot of good nuggets. You used a lot of good terms, things like passion, enthusiasm, making a decision after 6 months. And those are all things, that I like to talk to you about, because as independent contractors, as entrepreneurial spirits operating in a traditional business model like ours in the financial services arena, in the insurance marketplace, specifically life, there's a certain makeup, right? You have to be wired up a certain way in order to, when your feet hit the floor in the morning, you got to have a certain fire under your belly, and in your heart, you got to be right between the left and the right ear. You have to be authentic and genuine, and you have to have self-awareness. And so that is not something that everyone that you and I encounter has in the beginning. Sometimes those skills need to be taught. Where did you begin to learn over the course? Because I heard you say, well, maybe you said this to me yesterday, when you first got started, you were a little skeptical that someone was going to pay you $800 or $1,000 to sell a life insurance policy to somebody off a piece of paper, off a lead. You were a little skeptical until Lisa went and did it. And then the money went into the account. It was like, holy moly, this thing works. When did you begin to start the process of change your mindset, change your attitude, change your routine, your work schedule? When did that all start to evolve, and how did it evolve for you?
It's really an easy answer. I mean, if you want me to be honest, I think the skepticism at the beginning, especially if you haven't been in this industry before, until you follow this, a mentor or a coach to get to the point of giving yourself the opportunity. And thank God for my wife for being more patient and sticking with that opportunity. But to be quite honest with you, Brett, when that first deposit hit the account, it was real. I saw that it was real. And I think if people are patient enough to walk through the process and run some practice appointments, do some ERSs, and then just go through the steps that we lay out for you, and trusting that, because in the world we live in, man, trust is just, it's hard to find. So getting the right people to work with, and honestly getting them to boot camps. I will say this, because I've gotten a lot of response from people that I've talked to on the phone that are interested in the opportunity. And I really drive home, if it were me and I were in your shoes, what I would recommend that you do is you're trying to make a decision that could alter your life and your family's life based on who you're working with. What I would recommend if I were in your shoes is to come to the boot camp, shake hands with the people you're going to be working with, look us in the eye, and listen to what we have to say. And the people that listen to me and do that, when they leave, and the feedback that I get from all the people who speak, you, me, Dwayne, Mike, John, Dort, it doesn't matter. Everybody, Eddie, they say, man, you guys are just an organization that has integrity. I can't get that across on the phone. They begin to trust me, but they see the bigger picture, and our whole organization has integrity. So getting people to that event, those events that, it's big, but the humble beginnings for me was when I saw the deposit hit the account, it became real. And I think that's so important whenever we bring somebody on board, to get them to that step as quickly as we can as managers, so that they can see that it is real. Everything that I'm coaching you to do, I'm not doing it for a hobby. I want this to really, truly impact your life in a positive way. And I want to show you and prove to you that this works. But I'm going to ask you to be patient and just do the things that I'm asking you to do. So there again, sorry if I'm long-winded on my answers, but when that deposit hit the account is when I made the decision. I was like, okay, all right, what if we were to sell 3 or 4 of these a week? How would that look like?
How would that change your life? How
would that change my life? You know what I mean? How many cabinets do I have to build? How many hours do I have to put into breathing sawdust, breathing paint fumes, staining? I still love working with wood. I'll be honest with you. I have a shop out back at my house, and I'll go out there, and I still have that I need to fill that need. But man, it's not something that I have to do anymore. I can do it when I want to do it. And people ask me all the time. And when I get up in front of a boot camp, I'll tell them success is gauged off of different, people gauge it differently. Is it monetary? Is it, how much money you make? No, it's basically having the time to do what I want to do, when I want to do it, with who I want to do it. You know what I mean? So now woodworking is a part of what I want to do. I do it when I want to do it. Or when my wife opens a magazine and says, "Can you build this?" I'm like, "Yeah."
Did I hear this? Do you have a baseball field at your house? Did you build a baseball field at your house?
Yeah, I mean, it's not we're not doing spring training on them or anything, but it's a field I can get out and have fun with my kids, and they can invite some people over, and we use it for soccer, we use it for baseball, wiffle ball, football, whatever. It's just a field we get out and play in. But yeah, we did that.
And I'm going to circle back to that. I'm going to circle back to this specific topic, which is, there's a lot of educated product geniuses out there in our space who still are living paycheck to paycheck in our space, in the insurance arena. And they put up a front that they're one way, but their bank account says something different. And we'll talk about that here, but I think one of the blessings of the insurance business is being able to build a baseball field in your house. Would you agree?
Yeah, I mean, it's fun. You got to enjoy life, brother.
So let me ask you, you've been around longer than I have, 14 years in the industry. You run a different shop, a base shop out of Georgia than I do. You actually have an office space where you do the mail, you bring agents in, more of the brick and mortar type of agency, which I love. What changes have you seen from just even in the last 5 years? Like, I'll give you an example, and you can talk more about this than I can. The cost of mail, the cost of stamps, and the cost of just doing business and generating a source of a lead for an agent to go talk to. Can you maybe speak on that a little bit and some of the changes that you've seen just even in the last 5 to 7 years?
Sure. Well, the leads are a lot more expensive than I thought they were. It does cost a lot of money to produce mail, so it makes me more aware of who I'm working with and how big of a deal it is for a person to get an A lead, because I invest more than half into the cost of the lead for each and every person in our organization. And so we all are investing in that lead together. And I got to trust that here's what changed for me, because I used to run every area that I could physically get to, and Lisa would set appointments. And so I would run in many different directions. And so and looking back on it now, I can see that I just proved that all these areas work. But at the time, I just wanted to hustle. I wanted to go to as many places as I could and do as much as I could do with the time that I had to do it, because I had time, I had my health, I had my energy, my wife. I mean, you got to go after it while we can get it. You know what I mean? You got to just make that a priority. So I had to start giving up some of that area as I would bring people on board. And so I was like, okay, do I trust this person to go out and do as good of a job as I could do in that area? So those are the decisions early on that I had to start making. And so I trust, and I started meeting people that I felt like, okay, I don't feel like I'm doing a disservice to that area. And I know that if they go out there and run these leads, they're going to do as good of a job as I did to service these people and finding other opportunities, even beyond that mortgage protection sale. So the trust there, but just makes me very aware of how much the leads cost, and that it's hard for an agent to just jump right into a lead program. Okay, man, I want to do insurance. All right, go to ExamFX, get your license, and we'll do your contracting, and then we're going to start immediately mailing for you. And, 3 weeks into this thing, after you